when I was born, coming now number 4, my mother, having been told that this is a girl, didn't want to breastfeed me. She didn't want to take me for vaccination. As a matter of fact, she never ever took me for vaccination. So I was here, had grown up without any form of vaccination. And I had grown up this way, not knowing that actually my source of pain and anger started at birth. My husband told me something that for me settled my heart. Do you know you can be married to someone and you're going through something, and sometimes the journey is really personal. So he told me, Judy, it's okay. I understand your season. God is going to send ravens like me and others to take care of you in this season. That whole statement about him just telling me that God would send ravens made me understand that he understood what I was going through. And I found peace. I found peace in lack. Conviction comes in your spirit. Yes. That's why I'm saying you have to be spiritually aligned. Because if you do this thing with your head, you will tell yourself things facing a mirror. And once that mirror is gone, you forget. You go back to default settings. You get it? But it is what is here. You hear, you know it, you know that you know that you know. Even if you're the only person that knows it. And there's something about people who are driven. Whether you give them secretarial, they will ace it. Give them sales, they will ace it. Cleaning. Give them cleaning, they will ace it. Give them the marketing, they will ace it. And it's possible for you to sit in a place that is actually not your place of calling. And because it seems to be working, you rest.
A very good morning to you and a warm welcome to LNS Rebuilding Series. My name is Lynn Ngugi. If there's a conversation I'm loving having on this show is that of turning pain into purpose. And my guest has done exactly that. I want to send you to her website real quick. It's the one that is showing on your screen right now. And I want you to read that summary right there. You see the one that states rejected, from birth all the way down there to being able to find her purpose. That's the place I want you to pause and read faster because we are going to be summarizing her story that way. I'm about to let her introduce herself so that she can walk us through her journey, what exactly happened and how did she find herself. But before I do that, I want to say thank you to the official partners of today's conversation, Tap Tap Send. If you are watching this and you are looking into a money, app that you're able to send money to your loved one here back at home, why don't you try Tap Tap Send and you'll be able to get 10% off if you use my code Lynn. But only, guys, only if you're sending money the very first time. So don't be sending money 6 times and then be like, Lynn, I did not see the 10%. It applies on your very first time and it's very fast, it's reliable, and your people back at home will be able to get that money in the first 2 to 5 minutes. Check their app. It's also pinned on the comment section. And of course, to say thank you so much to you guys. We are heading to 800K subscribers. I cannot believe that's how we are going to close our year. It's only because of you. I want to intentionally acknowledge the fact that this platform would not be where it is right now without your support. So asanteni sana. And you wouldn't be watching today's episode without the amazing work of my team here, Muga, Scholar, Edgar, asanteni sana, and of course to our incredible editors downstairs for making sure that they compile this work and make sure it reaches you guys right on time. Now, allow me, please, scratch that. And now, without further ado, please allow me to let my guest introduce herself. Hi, sweetheart, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me here, Lynn.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Hii excitement yangu kuimatch, it's it's a hassle. I come ready, I come prepared. I'm like, God, you gave me this platform. I'm gonna show up for it, you know.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm very well, thank you.
Looking lovely.
Asante.
You look so beautiful. I was gonna say, if they see me with your hairstyle, Wajue, you are my plug, because that's a beautiful, beautiful hairstyle
Asante.
you have going on.
Asante.
But before I go any further with my kierere, could
Yes.
you please introduce yourself?
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Judy Mzungu Jabali. I am a Kingdom Life Coach and the founder of the Realignment Program, which I have been running for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And I just recently launched a book called Power Your Vision exactly a month ago.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't want to advertise the book,
Yes.
but I gotta show them something because I'm thinking of writing one.
Yes.
And what I loved is the power of packaging.
Amen.
Your brand.
Thank you so much.
For me, the way you packaged this, the way your website looks, I gotta give props where, you know, props are due.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, but we'll get into this.
Yes.
I love the cover. You
Thank
look
you.
amazing.
Thank
see,
you.
when we ordered is what we are receiving right now. It's what's been delivered. We can see this is you and this is you. But we also have another person here cheering you on.
Yes.
Behind the camera.
Yes.
Your husband is sitting right there.
Yes.
The joy it gives me when people come here with their partners.
I tell you, I'll tell you the story behind the story.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a story behind the
There's
story.
a story behind the
Okay,
story.
I'm gonna be patient
Yes.
and wait for it.
Yes.
But for me, what I love with
Yes.
your story
Yes.
is the fact that you are able to turn your pain into a purpose. What exactly does that mean?
What exactly that means is, in fact, for me, at that particular point, it was just like a light bulb went on for me. And I was like, oh my God, Judy, this has happened for you at this point in your life. How many other people like you are out there? If only they could access this truth, then they too would have a chance.
Yes.
How many other people younger than you? If only they knew this much earlier, probably they would have been able to do what you're doing, find themselves much earlier. That was my push.
Good.
I had no idea what it was going to blow up into. I just took baby steps, and today here we are.
Here you are.
Yes.
I just had a deja vu or something. My guest, I hosted someone, her name is Melissa.
Yes.
She came in white.
Yes.
She said the exact same things.
Oh,
Or am
wow.
I dreaming? I think she said the exact same thing. You know? And I love that in our lives right now, we
Yes.
are moving into a certain direction.
Yes.
This happened to us, but we are able to turn it and
Yes.
make sure that other people don't have to go through what we've gone through.
Yes.
They can learn from our story. You know?
Yes.
So me, this is the part I sit back and let you rightfully own your story.
Yes.
So from the point you are very much okay in, could you take us through your story? What is this that you've gone through? How did it come about? And how did we end up with having such a book?
Okay.
You know, how are we powering our vision right now?
Okay, I'll start by just speaking about my life, how I knew it in my 30s and, you know, even into my early 40s. I was simply a hardworking person who seemed to be making strides, albeit a bit slowly in life, seemed to be knocking doors, and then the doors seemed to close at the last minute, seemed to get into relationships and find rejection, seemed to not exactly hit it as far as life was going. So honestly speaking, Lynn, I was frustrated. I was a bit angry. I was disappointed with life, but I was doing what everyone does in a situation such as mine. You learn to survive. You learn how to wake up in the morning, go to a job, give what you have to give. Sometimes, yeah, you give everything that you have, but you're not exactly able to break the glass barrier and get into the next level. You get into a relationship, you give everything that you think you will have to give, and then somehow it just doesn't work out. My life was about a cycle of rejection, pain, and disappointment. And I did what happens to many people in that particular point in life. I lost my life. I lost my sense of drive. I lost my sense of enthusiasm. I was just a walking zombie, and yet I didn't know it. And the reason I speak about it this way is because many times, because life happens to us, maybe we get disappointed, maybe we get, you know, hurt, pain, and all this, we learn to just let go. We stop trying. We stop going for whatever else that we knew that life could have given us. It's almost like we just accept this is it, and you stop dreaming. That's where I was.
You know, I'm having that moment because I can't imagine, sorry to interrupt,
Yes, that's
I
okay.
can't imagine the number of people watching right now, because I've been there before.
Yes.
You wake up and you ask yourself, what the hell am I doing with my life? Who am I?
Yes.
What is this?
Yes.
By the way, why am I alive? By the way, what's going on in my life?
Yeah.
Damn.
That's what happened to me. And then, so for me, it happened in the reverse. So I have to start from where I was. So I had kind of like just gotten used to, you know, life just not working out. You know, and if I look at my life, it had been a series of disappointments. I finished school, lost university entry by 1 point. In those days when I was, you know, much younger, because I can tell you I'm much older than you, there was no parallel.
What do you mean you're much older?
Yes.
You're in your 40s, right?
Yes.
Then, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The math is now,
Yes. But there was no parallel. So if you didn't have entry into a university, you are done for. And so that's what happened to me. My hopes, my dreams, my desire of going into campus died. So what happened? I started my career at the lowest level. I started as a cleaner cum receptionist. Worked my way up. Then somehow along the way, then got into secretarial. In my generation, everyone went to Temple College. I don't know whether you found it.
No, yes, I have heard about
You've heard about it, yes. So Temple College was somewhere in Nairobi on the Tomboya Street, almost the lower side of Nairobi. So that's where I went. Then now my career was taking like a sure path. And in this sure path, I thought I became an administrator, executive assistant. I thought this is it for me. My career seemed to be going somewhere. And then the company went to an economic downturn and I lost my job because the company that I was in could not afford to pay. And that was my first, I think, real encounter with disappointment, because then I realized that you can work so hard and still not be able to make it in this life. But so as I track back forward, I'm talking about my loss of dreams and all that. So that was my disappointment. Got into relationships, didn't work. Then I started a business after that job ended. So when I started that business, after a while, because of lack of capital, of course, it closed down. And I had to go back to employment. So when I went back to employment, I went into my natural path, which would have been secretarial. Then I would go for part-time classes. In fact, all my schooling I'd have had to do part-time because of the circumstances that I found myself in. So I went and I enrolled in a part-time college. And there was something one of the lecturers saw, because I was at Kenya Institute of Management. So he called me out. And he called me outside the door and he told me one time, Judy, there's a way, because I was very active in the marketing class. And he called me out and he told me, Judy, there's a way if you go to Nairobi University, you can do a diploma in 1 year. That lecturer, I have never seen him from that day, but he helped my life. He changed the trajectory of my life. Why am I narrating this story? Because many times, even as we talk about the disappointments of life, usually there will be moments that God opens our eyes to begin to see that this is what I have deposited in you. And so I took a salary cut from wherever I was working and I went to start a career in sales and marketing. And then I went into the media industry, worked in rural media for a while, went into digital signage advertising, and then I became a sales and marketing manager. So at that season, I became sales and marketing manager, having gone through a series of disappointments. And even for me, honestly, to get into that managerial position was a lot. It didn't happen progressively. I'd get into a job, almost look like I'm, moving around, but getting into the next managerial level, in as much as my performance spoke for me, I just couldn't. So in the last job that I finished, I stopped working and I thought I was going to get another job as fast as I always got the others, because I was always headhunted. I was a performer, Lynn. And there's something about people who are driven. Whether you give them secretarial, they will ace it. Give them sales, they will ace it.
Cleaning.
Give them cleaning, they will ace it. Give them the marketing, they will ace it. And it's possible for you to sit in a place that is actually not your place of calling. And because it seems to be working, you rest.
Oh my God. It is possible.
It is possible
for you to sit in a place
yes.
that is not of your calling.
Yes.
And because it's comfortable,
yes,
you rest.
Yes. And it's because it's using one of your strengths.
I'm loving this conversation. Kuna watu wanajikuna.
Yes. So I was, you know, I was acing it. I aced it as a secretary. I aced it as a salesperson. I aced it as a marketer. And then after this final position came, I thought now I was going to be headhunted. I had always been headhunted. This time, Lynn, it didn't work.
Nobody's coming for you.
No one is coming. Bills are here. This is Nairobi. I was scared. I tried looking. I prayed. I did all those things. But one important thing that shifted this whole season for me, I remember one time a cousin of mine that I had not even talked to for 6 months, so she had no idea what I was even going through. So she told me, Judy, come and see me. I live in South Sea, she lives in Nyayo Embakasi, so I went to Nyayo Embakasi to see her. And when I went to see her, as I was leaving, she told me, God told me to give this to you. She didn't just buy, you know, usually when you're buying things, you just buy the kitchen stuff. She had even bought bathing soap, detergent, you know, crazy shopping that you don't even imagine. When I was leaving that place, I had to call my husband to tell him, come and pick me up, because I couldn't carry what I had gotten from that lady. And when I got into the car, he asked me, did you go shopping? I said, you know that I was broke, and I was really broke, Lynn. My husband told me something that for me settled my heart. Do you know you can be married to someone and you're going through something, and sometimes a journey is really personal. You're married, but yet it is a personal journey that you must be able to go through alone. So he told me, Judy, it's okay. I understand your season. God is going to send ravens like me and others to take care of you in this season. That whole statement about him just telling me that God would send ravens made me understand that he understood what I was going through. And I found peace. I found peace in lack. And I learned to wait on God. I stopped looking. I'd wake up in the morning, be in the house. I listened to a lot of sermons. I listened to a lot of Sarah Jakes Roberts. I listened to a lot of Priscilla Shire. And as I kept on watching them, I kept on watching them, something began to shift inside of me. As I was watching them, Lynn, I didn't see Priscilla Shire or Sarah Jakes anymore. I started seeing myself. Something more important was happening to me. I was beginning to remember Judy as a speaker. What had happened to me through the journey of my life, Lynn, is that I had lost myself. I had lost myself through the failure, through the pain, through the disappointments, through trying to survive. But then there was always a speaker in me. And it took that wilderness season for God to begin to call out what was within me.
You know, you've said something important before we go on.
Yes.
You found
peace in lack.
Peace in lack,
yes,
and not in abundance.
Yes.
And for me, the thing that a lot of people are watching you right now.
Yes.
And they have to meet bills.
Yes.
School is calling, rent is calling, everything is calling, yes, right now.
Yes.
And Judy, times are hard, yes, right now, depending, yes, on how we look at things.
Yes.
I know things are hard. You left Loron at 290, now it's almost 400 and something. A lot of things are hard. And they're looking at you and they're like, how exactly do I find myself and I have to keep up with life. My kids gotta eat. I have to pay fees. How do you do that? You have your husband telling you, I understand. You rest. I got you.
Yes.
To the person who has no one? Or is it that we will always have someone, but we are just not seeing it?
You know, even when I talk about I got you, it's not like he was in the millions. You understand?
Yeah.
What he was saying, and that's why I told you there's a story behind the story, is because he didn't have much, but what he had, Lynn, he shared. I can tell you, because you make me go ahead of my story, but I'll go back to it. By the time I began to find myself again and I was going back, I started using my speaking gift. I was doing Facebook Live, but we still didn't have money. He was the man behind the tripod. And I couldn't afford so much as a salon visit in as much as you tell me I look good today. I would just do my hair and look shaggy. Everyone would think, thankfully there was Corona. Everyone would think it was as tight it was, and I was broke, my friend. Why am I talking about this way, especially in times such as this? Because it's too many times, Lynn, because we don't talk about the wilderness, we miss out on the fact that God does something within us or to us in the wilderness season. If only we can change our perspective. This version of Judy would never have come without that wilderness season. It wasn't easy, Lynn, but I couldn't trade it for nothing. So peace in lack, yes, it meant we didn't have much. Don't be fooled. You know, many times, and that, by the way, that whole situation made me think, you know how society thinks that a man is a provider? I don't think so. I think God is the provider. You can be married and still have lack. You can be single and still have lack. Sometimes people think that just because you're married, then you're in your comfort zone. No, the man he's also going through his seasons. So God is the provider. That whole season changed my perspective. You talked about school fees. You talked about food. And one of the things that I realized, Lynn, is that when God brings you to the place of self-identity, you learn how to find rest, even when things don't seem to work. You learn how to eat sukuma wiki, kales, and ugali and be comfortable, and you have a glow on your face. You learn how to scale down and remove the roll-on and remove the lotion and have a remis, and it's just fine. Yes. You learn how to make do and realize that your sense of fulfillment doesn't come from everything that's on the inside, but you learn to dig deep, and because of your identity and because you have dealt and you have allowed God to deal with you, something else begins to become your anchor. And that's something that is important for us to learn in the wilderness season, because if you're not careful, you can be holding on to the job, the breakthrough of the past season, yet God wants to lead you to another season. But because you are so complaining about what has been lost, you lose sight of where it is that He wants to take you. Many times when people talk about the next level, they think it's you jump from one stair to another. It doesn't work like that. He withdraws the benefits of the former season so that then He ushers you into a new season. And then He molds you so that the new version of you can then step into that new season. We don't talk about it enough, but that's what happens. That's to encourage someone who is in the wilderness season. God is doing something. So I stayed in that wilderness season, and then that's when I started listening to Priscilla Shire. I started listening to Sarah Jakes, and I could see myself speaking again. What I didn't remember is that as a child, I used to speak. As a child, we won the best debating competition. That was a gift that was inside of me that had been hidden, and it took the wilderness for it to begin to come out again. But before I even start to speak about my gift, my speaking. So in this whole time, as I'm sitting in the house, a man of God calls me. He was based in the UK, and he tells me, would you transcribe some sermons for me? So I transcribed the sermons. Then when I transcribed, he called me back and he said, Judy, you're very intelligent. I was going through a wilderness season, Lynn. I couldn't even remember that I'm intelligent. You know, it came as a wake-up call. Like, you mean I have all this? Yes. So then he started pushing me. He started speaking to me and telling me, why can't you just go to social media? You know, things were thick. I was in a dark season. I had switched off Facebook, every social media account. I wasn't there. So he kept pushing me. Why don't you just try and put even a quote, take someone else's quote and put it on social media? Then one time, I didn't just take someone's quote, Lynn. I wrote my story. I didn't write it in full, but I was talking about the seasons that God withdraws you from the playing field of life because he wants to deal with you. The seasons that it doesn't make sense for anyone, but you have to step out of the pitch and allow God to begin to deal with you. It was a story that people could relate with because on social media, everyone puts beautiful photos. And the feedback encouraged me. Every week, I started writing. Every week, I started writing. Every Monday, I would write an article. Every Monday, just encouraging people and all that. What no one knew, and what even that man of God didn't know, is that when I was 18 years old, the gift that came through for me was writing. And an article that I had written was printed in the Standard newspaper those days.
18.
I had wanted to be a journalist. All of it seemed to have been lost. Yet in my 40s, yet in this wilderness season, it's like something within me was being activated. Now, you might wonder, Judy, how was it activated? Remember that I was angry, I was frustrated, all life wasn't happening for me. Then I got married. And when I got married, I remember one time, because I was carrying a lot. One time my husband told me, Judy, you have to deal with your anger. That was a wake-up call.
And who wants to hear that?
I think I introspected. It took that statement set me into a place of introspection. I started thinking. Remember that now I have a safe space. I'm alone in the house. I can begin to introspect and search. And I knew Lynn all my life. In fact, I used to have such anger that I would open my mouth, hoping that air would go in when I'm angry so that the temperature cools off on the inside. That's how much anger I was carrying. So, I had read books, Why You Act the Way You Do. I'm a choleric sanguine. Cholerics have anger issues. Sanguines have anger issues. So it looked like, you know what, this is it for me. Lina had prayed to God to heal my anger. It seemed not to be going. Here it is. It has followed me into my marriage. Jesus, what do I do? And one time as I sat back, it's almost like the Spirit of God just allowed me to just take a journey back. Then I remembered, it hit me. This is where your problem started from. And where did the problem start from? When I was born, there are 3 sisters ahead of me. So I came as number 4. So my mother, so when I was born, coming now number 4, my mother, having been told that this is a girl, didn't want to breastfeed me. She didn't want to take me for vaccination. As a matter of fact, she never ever took me for vaccination. So I was here, had grown up without any form of vaccination. And I had grown up this way, not knowing that actually my source of pain and anger started at birth. It was that rejection that I had faced as a child that seemed to follow me almost through the course of my life. Then it also didn't help that growing up, I was an extrovert. The 3 older sisters ahead of me are introverted. So what was I being told? Kiherehere. What did I try to do? Try to keep quiet, to fit in with the rest. And even then, there's always something in you that feels like, you know what, you don't quite fit into. So that's how I grew up. I grew up facing rejection at home. I grew up, I was bright. I was evidently talented. I could speak, I could write, I could do great things. I was a leader. But where did all that go? So that conversation that I had with my husband made me think. And then I remember months later watching TV, and there was someone who was speaking about rejection. And I was like, he was sitting there, and I was like, do you know this thing is very difficult to deal with? I was looking at that person almost from the outside looking in, because now I didn't realize I had healed. That's when my husband told me, do you know how difficult it was to live with you for the first 6 months of marriage? That's where now I continued. I had healed now, and now my gift started getting activated. I started writing. Then I could see Priscilla Ashaya and relate with her. And then almost from nowhere, the man of God from church, he's called Pastor Hayes, he's a worship pastor. He told me, I'd like you to come and lead the service during FNL, Friday Night Live. It used to be a worship experience, monthly worship experience. That was 2019, Good Friday. I'll never forget. Lynn, that was the first time I held a microphone. And something in me came alive. And everyone who was there, who had been in House of Grace Church for 10 years, had never seen this side of Judy. But that is when my speaking gift was activated. But it took healing for my writing, for my speaking to get activated. So 2019, and then I remember like mid of that year, even before I talk about healing, and because I know there's someone who's going to ask, how did you deal with your mother's story?
Yes.
I think now that I was even married myself, and I was able to understand the challenges that come with marriage, I was able to sit back and empathize with my mother. My mind went back to her own story. My mother was the firstborn in her family. She was, I think, about 19, 20 years old, full of dreams, full of ambitions. She was a lot like me. She's died.
Oh, condolences.
So, she was one time in the farm digging. Then she sees a Volkswagen Kombi, and she sees men negotiating, and she sees them exchanging money. Then she's told, pack your things, you're married now. She got married to a man so much older than her. Found herself back in Nairobi, married to a man who had 3 other wives before. Here she was now, married off, and wife number 4 now. Now, all the 3 other wives had boys. The one card that she could have had that would help her was Judy. And I failed her. This was a woman whose dreams were lost.
Did she even have a voice?
You get, yes. So she had no dreams of her own. Her own dreams were lost. She was angry. My mother was an angry woman. And so, Lynn, I sat and I looked at my mother's story. And for the first time, I empathized with her. I forgave her, Lynn, long after she was buried. That's how healing and forgiveness works. And then it begins to reactivate the gifts that are inside of you.
Yeah. Can I ask you something?
Yes.
In line with that?
Yes.
Because this is something I'm also struggling with, especially on the show.
Yes.
You find that there are now people our age or maybe younger, maybe people are in their 30s or their 20s.
Yes.
And they are now coming into this realization, my parents did me bad, you know?
Yes.
And there's this anger between some children
Yes.
and their parents.
Yes.
And the kids don't know what to do. And the parents feel like it's not my fault.
Yes.
I did the best. I gave you the best I could, right? From where you're sitting.
Yes.
And someone is watching this and they are caught in between that. Should I forgive? Should I even try to understand your life? because it doesn't justify the things you did to me. You did what you did to me. You might have gone through the pain that you might have been going through something, but it's also, where do we draw the line between forgiveness and choice? You made a choice to treat me that way, but now I'm trying to understand where you are coming from to have chosen to treat me that way. How do I forgive, and where do we draw the line?
You know, for the most part, even the parents and the generation that raised us, to be honest, when you say that they did the best they could, yes, they did. It's because we were simply raised by wounded people, honestly speaking. They didn't have the information we now have. One of the things that I keep saying, I am grateful to God for what happened to me, you know, because many times people don't want to forgive because you're waiting to be asked to, I'm sorry, you know, or you want to say, you want the other person to come and apologize. Forgiveness takes only one person.
Not two.
Not two. For it's reconciliation that takes two.
Oh, forgiveness takes one person.
Forgiveness takes one person. And the reason why many people struggle with forgiveness is because you want to forgive before you heal. Realize that even in my own situation, I had to almost open up the wound. Allow myself to see the situation for what it was. And then accept, yes, here I am. I could have died, but I didn't. Thank God he kept me. God, why did you keep me? Realize that I was different. I felt segregated from the rest of my family, but yet I must also understand that for her, being a strong woman, being an angry woman for that matter, it was easier for her to deal with an introvert because an introvert is easier to. You understand? Yes. So now when I look at it that way, then I can be able to understand. But the first thing that I had to do is to accept what happened and not grapple with it. Yeah. Then as I was on Facebook, I see an advert, how to create an online course. Yes. I went, I listened. It was a 5-day challenge. I went, I listened. That lady is called Tracy Malone. Never met her. May the Lord bless you. I listened. Then I remembered my journey. I remembered how I had to go to the place of prayer, where I was watching Priscilla Shire and Sarah Jakes. Then I remembered that I had to heal my emotions. Then my mind began to shift towards myself. Yeah. Then my creativity started coming back. I could write. I could speak again. Then my drive came back. I could go to Facebook. Then I started a YouTube channel. And then I said, how about I come up with a program that would be able to show people this same result that happened for me. So that's how I started a program. It was called it's still called the Realignment Program. So I said, started with the spirit. Then my soul was healed. Then physically I started seeing the results. So we focused on spirit, soul, and body.
Spirit,
soul and body.
Because we'll be just out here focusing on the body.
Yes.
On the body.
Yes. And that's why I was saying that when you come to that place of now understanding yourself, these things that are physical of the body, they don't matter anymore. Not that we won't wear good clothes and have makeup, we will. Yes, but it doesn't define us. Not that we won't go into places and show up the way we should, but it doesn't define us. So, I remember I didn't have money. Yeah. I went to Canva, downloaded the app, created a flyer for myself and put it out there on Facebook. Then a man of God that I didn't even know inboxed me and he said, God has given you this and he will use you to heal many people locally and internationally. Later, I didn't even understand the meaning of that prophecy. Yes. I didn't understand the meaning of that word. But by the third cohort, In fact, let me say that most of the people who came even for the first cohort didn't pay. Of course, I didn't have a name. So some people, I remember my sister was the first one to enroll by faith. And then a few people paid, sponsored, and then I just started a class. By week 3, testimonies were coming. People were finding healing. Remember that first, because I'm not ordained or anything, I didn't have the confidence. I had been in ministry, but I didn't have the confidence to call myself anything kingdom. I didn't think I had what it takes. So I called myself a life skills developer. When the testimonies came, Lynn, I understood this is of God. I understood that this is the answer to the people in the kingdom of God. Called myself a kingdom life coach. Changed all my profiles. And I understood that because even from then, whatever I was doing was based on the word of God. And that's what it was. Plain and simple. I called myself a kingdom life coach. We focused on spirit, soul and body. I understood. You know, initially when I started, I thought God had done it for me. I could see this was the pattern. Is it possible that we can replicate this pattern for the many lives out there? It worked. And I continued. Wow. And so I did my first cohort. I remember it was October 2020. That's when we first started. Then December of 2020, I approached the producer of Switch TV and she agreed to interview me. So we did goal setting from the perspective of spirit, soul, body. And the reason why I'm again talking about power your vision, because you cannot see where you're going if you cannot see what is inside of you.
That's true. You cannot see where you're going.
Yes. You have to see everything that God has deposited in you. Then based on that, you can begin to chart a path. Your creativity begins to come alive like it did for me.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
So this is mine.
Yes.
But if someone else can relate.
Yes.
You've said you can't see where you're going if you can't see what's inside of you.
Yes.
What if what is inside of you scares you, right? So there are many instances in my life I've shrunk because I don't want to either intimidate someone or a situation. You know, you have this crazy feeling. It's overwhelming you. It tells you it's time to go. It's time to do this.
Yes.
Like if all the creative ideas I have right now were to come out here and speak, they would be like, Lynn. But I feel like it's always the thought of, what if I do this and it's not going to work? You know, what if I do this and maybe I'm not good at it? What if I do this and it fails on my face, you know? That's why I was saying sometimes you stay where you are because it's a profit.
Yes.
You don't have to face the what ifs. To me and a lot of people who are watching, we know what's inside of us. We know it's bad. Sometimes it keeps you awake at night.
Yes.
It's really bad.
Yes.
But then when it's now time to take that step forward, you're like, nah, let me go back to my zone. There it's a bit comfortable.
Yes.
I don't have to deal with all these uncertainties. How do we deal with that?
I think fear is normal, and I talk about it actually in the book Power Your Vision, yeah? Because even as you take the journey inward, and then by the grace of God, you begin to come out, just like even in the children of Israel, as they were going to the promised land, they encountered enemies there. And the first enemy they encountered is the enemy within. They began to hear their own voices. Did I fear? Yes. I wondered, am I ordained? That's why I was comfortable calling myself a life skills developer. It was a comfortable thing. Now, even that word by the man of God to tell me God will use you to heal many people, it took testimonies for me to come out. And even then I was scared because, I mean, really in a day and age such as this, you could have probably, as a matter of fact, even men of God rising and saying, who told you, Kingdom Life Coach, where is evidence? But when God sends you on an assignment, he backs it up. I've been at it now for 3 years. Without, I say this with all humility, because even when that word came, Lynn, I didn't know. I've had people from Liberia, Ghana, Nigeria, Mozambique, South Africa. Many people based in America, Canada. But I had to take a step of faith. And sometimes some people came to that class, I'm talking about fear and intimidation. Some people came to that class, Lindsay, with big titles. Well, until I sit down and wonder, I go to counsel myself first before I come and sit down as a coach.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's also intimidating. It has been an intimidating journey for me. I don't do it because I feel like I am qualified. I don't. And that's what will humble you. If you ever have to do something that you're qualified for, pride will kill you.
Good.
But if you have to move into a space that you know you don't fit into, only the grace of God is keeping you, you'll do it differently.
He'll humble you.
Yes. It is actually, to be honest, it is pride that is holding you back. Because you want that which you'll be sure of, so that you say you had a strategy.
Yes, I need to go in those. Yes. Yeah. You want that which.
Yes.
This episode was for me. Now we can close and go.
You can pay time.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So that you can say
you had a strategy. But God wants us to move into the unknown. And sometimes, Lynn, the thing that is holding us back is our past experiences. That's why we have to heal. You failed before. You have not overcome that past failing.
Because mimi ukweli sina hiyo nguvu ya kufail tena. Like you get
see,
like
yes.
I don't have that energy.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's what is keeping you back. Yet God wants you to do so much more.
Mm.
So even for me, writing a book, which we are going to talk about soon, it was a fearful journey. In this part of the world, or in this today's digital age, it's about having a name. Do I have a name as Judy Mzungu? No.
Now you do.
Now I do, thanks to Lynn. Thank you. God bless you.
Okay.
No, you know what I mean. No.
You came on the show. I'm having you on the show. So,
no. Let me tell you. It is true, and I don't want you to take yourself for granted, honestly speaking.
I'm shrinking again.
Yes, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you need to come for coaching so that you overcome that and walk into your space. Because God is using you as a voice to open doors for many other people.
I appreciate
so
that.
Unless you take that
space,
then how will you lift us up?
Now, I just feel like when you either do it or she's doing too much, or anyway, that doesn't scare me. Honestly, that's one part that doesn't scare me. I just feel like commitment issues to the gift sometimes is a challenge.
Yeah.
Because even you, like,
I know. I get it.
Commitment issues to this gift, sometimes you just look at it and you're like,
yeah.
I don't know.
And I get also, and let me tell you what, because we talked a bit and we both know where we came from, sometimes it's the challenge of where we came from. I too had to fight. I had priced my program at 4,000 Kenya shillings. It took my clients themselves to sit in the program and say, there's something wrong with your pricing. Sometimes when you come from lack, when you come from poverty, you have a problem embracing the greatness that God has deposited inside of you. I struggled with it.
Why are you telling the truth?
No!
But then are you speaking the truth? Yes.
Yes, I struggled. It took my own students to write a feedback form and say there is something wrong with your pricing. Because they were seeing results. Some had come, they had paid more in other programs. And I take no credit for it. It is a direction and it is spirit-led. It is a direction that we take. Because then we are addressing the tripartite nature of the human being without leaving out any part. So I was talking about the challenge of sometimes where you come from, and even the challenge of not having a name. So I wondered, I'm writing a book, but am I sure who people are going to buy? I'm not so sure I've overcome that challenge, but here I am. I decided to swim the waters anyway, go to the printers, and will wonder about who is going to buy later. Am I sure about the content? Am I sure that it is going to help people? By the grace of God, we are receiving great testimonies.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So where I am at right now, Lynn,
Yes.
I did the realignment program, and I had to keep on increasing the price because the truth is the caliber of the people got higher.
How much is it?
It's now 27,000.
Wait,
Yes.
from 4,000 to 27,000?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's not 27,000, and the difference about it is because I offer personal coaching. Within that 27,000, you have, so that's why now my commitment is to be able to help you to go in with you and come out.
Yes. How long is it?
Now it's 22 weeks, but only 10 weeks you take with me, and then the rest are self-paced online. So the rest are okay. So you do the 10 weeks. Now we do a 10-week program together, either in group or, as a person, depending on the package. And then now, so the results for me, I kept wondering, how can I reach more people? There are many people that are out there. There are believers that are out there. There are people who think that having helpless conversations, as if pain, hurt, and disappointment, and the things that, and it's true, it can chain you back. That's what happened to me. I actually found myself the moment I was able to heal. And then also now take you through the journey of after you heal, then what? What are the steps for you to begin to come out? What are the challenges that you will encounter along the way? Because I too haven't arrived. So my desire is to be able to reach, honestly, millions of people out there with the truth. Because what's happening to us is that we are either too spiritual. We are running because of the emptiness that is inside. I was also feeling empty when things were not working for me. I was also feeling dissatisfied. I was also feeling unfulfilled, and hence I was angry. We run to the things of God, and we pray, and we believe God, and we trust God for an answer. Is He faithful? Yes. But He deals with the spirit. Now you also have to come and deal with the soul. Because you can be very prayerful, lifting up holy hands. But if your mindset, first and foremost, you don't even see yourself correctly, becomes a challenge. Faith, actually, it's possible. Very many people go to church, pray, but faith does not exist. Not because they are bad people, but the circumstances, the issues of life. It seemed like you've prayed, and it's not working. It's not God. It is what is going on inside of you. And then not having a drive, not even being willing to try again. When now you're able to address that, now the other side sometimes tends to deal with the mind and leave out the spirit. So you find people who are very hyped up, looking like, yes, they're going to make it, and maybe they will. But in that whole process, there's still an emptiness.
True story.
Because you still haven't dealt with the emotions, and because you have left a part of you, the spirit. So we are talking about a place where we can come to that place of finding peace, finding fulfillment, and still being able to do exploits. Because what I'm talking about, Lynn, once you achieve that healing, forgiveness, and your mind now begins to be reactivated again, the creative ideas, creative strategies, you begin to co-create with God as He desired for it to be.
Yes.
It takes you to the place of 3 John 1:2. Beloved, I desire that you prosper in all things, even as your soul prospers.
You just backed it up.
Okay.
I see.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we are meant to succeed, even relationally. I was failing. I'm not here because I'm any better than you, Lynn. I failed. I almost failed in my marriage. God graced me with someone who was patient enough. And that's why I told you, I'll tell you the story behind the story. Who was able to help me, be patient with me. And that tells us, Lynn, there are many relationships, many marriages that are breaking, maybe that shouldn't. That's why I was saying sometimes we are too quick to label people as toxic. Narcissists. Even I could have been labeled and someone could have left me. I was a perfect candidate for divorce. If only we can heal. Emotionally. That we can come to that place of finding peace and harmony.
Yeah.
And having drive, having vision. We are coming to the end of the year. Having vision, beginning to have hope for life again, beginning to see the dreams that you had, the hopes, the desires. I wanted to be a journalist. I probably didn't make it, but see where I am today in front of a camera.
There.
Are you seeing? You get it? Yes. And that's to encourage anyone. God the journey, everything is within you. Well, even as I'm doing coaching, I'm not looking for something outside. I'm only helping you to see inside. Power your vision.
Yes. How do we deal with age, though? You said you're in your 40s.
Yes.
This is now when you're realizing,
yes,
like majority of these things.
Yes.
So how do we stay hopeful in age? Because, you reach your 30s and nowadays they say if you reach your 30s na hujajipanga,
yes,
wewe hata hakuna haja ya kuingia soko. So how do we deal with that?
Let me tell you, Lynn, tonight, wherever time these people are watching, I have come with a message of hope.
Yes.
I am not the one who discovered herself at 25 or 29. Yeah? You know that place where now, they say that when you're married, when you get married at 25, or they should get married. In fact, ladies get married at 25 or 29, right? Then your manufacturing date, expiry date in Anzaku, it starts showing up.
For 30.
30. 31.
Yes.
Hey, I hit 35, it went, my sister.
Yes.
36, 37. I walked down the aisle at the age of 40. My story comes really to encourage you. That sometimes we are too tied in the systems of the world.
Yes.
And he renews your youth like the eagle.
Look at how you look at you right now. You see? Don't be shy. Unaona hata ana smile pale like he knows he has a good thing.
Hey,
yes.
He renews your youth like the eagle. What is this about making yourself think like, what time is going by? So you're 35, you're what? Ish. Carry yourself and allow God to rebrand you on the shelf.
Rebrand you. That's nice. I could rebrand you on the shelf.
Yeah, he doesn't remove you, go and repackage you out there. Right there on the shelf. As the others are coming, latest arrivals.
Yes.
Coming soon.
Cool.
But you
bestseller. Yes.
So, just like anyone else who is out there and they're thinking, my time is long gone. That's the story of this person sitting before you. I could have given up on myself. As a matter of fact, maybe society had given up on me. For me to come out and start speaking in my mid-40s, trying to find a niche, trying to find a name from nowhere. You never worked in a media house. You have nothing to back you up. You're starting from zero. All you have is a message. What am I saying? That when God begins to, when you, first and foremost, make the journey, because sometimes we make it about God, yet there has to be a participatory role. There's God and we know it. Yes. I'm a believer.
Yes.
In fact, I'm a kingdom life coach. I'm a minister of the gospel. But there is a part of God, and there has to be your participatory role. And that's why we have written this book that includes a workbook, by the way, to guide you, almost hold your hand through the journey, so that then you can be able to go in, go in, go in, go in, and see that thing and find the courage, because it will take courage for you to come out. I was in my mid-40s. I could have given up on myself. I could have given up on life, but I said I'll do this for other people, just like me, who are hurt, who are wounded, who have been disappointed, and the hurting of the soul has hindered their destiny. Once you heal, Joel 2:25-26 comes alive. He restores the years that the locust and the cankerworm have eaten. Because honestly speaking, in the 3 years, the rise that I have had is almost unexplained. That I am here today, for me, I'm not taking it for granted. It is another miracle.
Amen.
That now you begin to realize that when you are able to see what you carry on the inside, anchored by faith, you will recover the lost years. That's my encouragement.
They're hearing you.
That's my encouragement, and I am a testimony.
I hear so many people saying, I lost myself in my marriage. I became something totally different. Like now, the guest I was speaking to you about, she's amazing. And we were talking about that part, you know, losing yourself in what is supposed to bring you joy. And I just feel like, just looking at you and your story and what you've gone through, everyone can still find themselves.
Exactly.
But we just have to be able to understand you have to do the work.
There's a participatory role.
Yeah.
You understand? So there's you partnering with the Holy Spirit, partnering with God. But most of us, we want to sit and say, let God. And then there's the other side of the divide that takes it all by themselves. Either way, if you have you're either on this, you lose out.
Yeah.
So the main thing is anchor your faith in God. Take your participatory journey, partner with God. Then it becomes his business to open doors. Because some doors you can't open. I didn't open this door, honestly speaking, if you ask me.
True.
It just happened by divine arrangement. I'll not talk about what happened, but it happened by divine arrangement that we were able to meet and click at that particular day. You cannot take credit for it. I can't. It was the Holy Spirit.
It was.
So you have to allow people to also see that once you begin to journey, once you begin to take the first step, he takes you through the next. He takes you through the next. He takes you through the next, and it becomes beautiful. Throughout, it's a journey of faith.
You know, and this is what, have you ever looked at someone, even those like, I'll use an example of an actor.
Yes.
And you looked at them and you are like, I end in Bali. But they keep going. They keep going. They keep going and they keep going and they keep going. And you're like, how did they get here?
I want to talk about that.
Go on.
You see, where people mainly fail in this whole time, that what you're talking about is conviction. Conviction comes in your spirit.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying you have to be spiritually aligned. Because if you do this thing with your head, you will tell yourself things facing a mirror. And once that mirror is gone, you forget. You go back to default settings. You get it? But it is what is here. You hear, you know it, you know that you know that you know.
Even if you're the only person that knows it. And
I keep saying, if you think about Tyler Perry doing what he did for 7 years, not being able to hit it, what did that man have? Is conviction. What we fail to have as far as what it is that God wants us to do is conviction.
God, I love that. Hey. Say on your late bulb moment. Conviction.
It is conviction, and it is in your spirit, not in your soul. You get it? Now, the reason why sometimes it doesn't translate is because now, in as much as the conviction came, your mind began to fight you. Now, that's why you need to heal from the past, so that now your mind is able to embrace possibility. And then now your mind also becomes active because it has embraced the possibility, becomes active and begins to generate creative ideas.
Yes.
Then your will checks in, you move and begin to take action. Now then you begin to see physical manifestation.
I love that. You just give us a free. We should be paid 27,000 for that. It's only on the show, though. It's only on the show.
Yes.
No, go on. This is something I would, honestly, this is not an ad, but this is something I would comfortably pay that money for.
Yes. So now, what I do as a coach is beyond now telling you conviction, revelation and all, is to now trace back with you, where could you have lost it? Once you can see it and you're able to see your strengths, you can be able to rise again.
And that's not an easy place to go back to for
Where?
many people.
The reason why
you lost it.
Not necessarily. It's because the reason why it becomes difficult is because you have not acknowledged first who you are.
Another 27,000.
Yes.
Now give them.
Let them come. Let them come.
Let's go on. Because you've not just a little bit,
yes.
because you've not acknowledged.
You don't know who you are.
And half of knowing who you are is knowing who you are not also.
Yeah, but it starts with knowing who you are.
Yes.
When you know who you are, then you can know who you are
not.
not. Then now, based on who you are, your creativity can begin to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
That was my story, and I believe it should be everyone's story. That's why I wrote the book.
And
Lynn.
there's hope.
There is hope. That's why I wrote the book. I may not be able to coach everyone, but even if I'm not able to come, may I come to your living room? May I come to your hands? May I come that you will also be able to access this truth?
Because the truth is, the many of us who have been walking zombies. I like admitting. There are moments where I just felt like I'm a walking zombie. Like, by the way, you get what I'm saying? Like, you just like, what exactly am I
And you
doing?
look like you're in the corporate world. You know, like
you're thriving, you are winning, but your soul is empty. Your mind is empty.
Yes.
Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yes, and you're not expressing all of you.
Because I feel like I'm living 5% of my life now.
Imagine it's time for all, die empty. Let me change the narrative about purpose.
Yes.
Because you might think that you're fulfilling purpose just being on Lynn Ngugi network. Using one dimension, sorry.
Coach, come slowly.
Sorry. Using one dimension. Yes. But yet God has deposited so much more inside of you. Dying empty is actually pouring out the journalism, pouring out everything, every dimension. So in coaching, actually what we try to do is to find out everything that you are. My narrative, as far as purpose is concerned, is that purpose is everything from your DNA, where you came from. Now, when you look at my journey, my own journey, my father was a journalist. So your DNA gives you something. If you think about your own self, there's somewhere where you got what you're carrying.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yes. So you go back there. Now, the reason why, and I can talk about Claire here on this show because she was also on your show and she talked about it. Sometimes some people come and they're like, do I even have a gift? Claire is on story. And I said, it's okay. Let's go through coaching. As we journeyed with her, I looked at her workbook, very poetically written. That girl stood out. You could see her workbook. That's how now I'm able to pick up the gift because God has given me there. Then I started asking her, tell me, what are your best subjects? Tell me about where you came from. The father was a journalist. That girl had picked up a gift from her father. She didn't even know because he died when she was so young. Today, that girl is an online writer.
Yes.
So where did you come from?
Your DNA.
Well, your DNA. What skills and abilities? What life experiences? Now, as an example, if you look at my life, I might look, they were talking about being disadvantaged coming from nowhere. Yet it actually now becomes an advantage to me in a certain way, because why? I'm able to interact with the person who is in the streets as well as a person who is in the corporate. Not everyone has that grace. It is my life experiences that gives me that ability. That I can speak the local lingo, I can speak Sheng as an example, and speak corporate English and fit in both places. That's why I still had a heart for someone who cannot afford the program. Why? Because I remember where I came from.
Okay, I even got a title for this video. You came from where you came from in your past. Yes. You also came from being one of the most sought after employee to no one wanting to hire you, to finding your purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you look at purpose that way, then I look at, for example, that, you know, I was a secretary, an administrator, a salesperson, a marketer, and now I worked in ministry. Then I became a coach. All these things have added up to who I am. Purpose is revealed per time.
Yes. And no experience goes to waste.
No experience goes to waste. That's why I was telling you, you can lock yourself. Sorry if you felt bad, but sorry.
Hey, coach.
Sorry.
All right.
Forgive me.
Yes.
Yeah, because this is just one dimension.
Yeah.
And yet sometimes you can shine so high in one dimension that you forget others. I was listening another time to another program, and this guy was it Cantona or someone? He Cantona. He was a footballer, star footballer in our years. I don't know whether you remember. He was a footballer. Now, do you know what he's doing? Playing music. And also using art.
May I relate? My favorite one, Jack Bauer, Kiefer Sutherland. You watch 24?
No.
Hey, coach, go watch it.
Okay.
I know you are not maybe into it, but he did that. He's an act. Now he's singing. He's doing his own country music and stuff.
Yes.
And I was like, from guns to country music, like, yeah, that's what inspired me. There are other things I want to do with my life.
Thank you. And let me tell you, because you're a creative.
Yes.
Creativity can be expressed in different ways.
Yes.
We sometimes lock creatives, but we should be able to allow them their space to become everything they are meant to be.
Say that again. But there you feel so let me talk to my audience a little bit, because this is something I've had to express to people.
Yes.
So there are shows I do. I love the concept Tales of Wanjiku.
Yes.
But it's also a concept that takes a lot of my energy. So sometimes I give myself a break, because it's really an emotional show.
Yes.
So sometimes there are moments in life I don't want to create that show, because it takes an emotional toll on me. Then now when I bring like your show right now, because we are speaking a different lingo, someone will go on the comment section and they'll be like, we really miss the shows that you used to do of local Mwananchi. These ones now of people, and I keep telling them, stop putting me in a corner of what you think I need to create. I create from my spirit. I create from how I'm feeling. I create from the kind of energy I'm radiating at that particular moment. For you to think my job is to forever cry, and also that crying is not scripted. For you to think that you can put me in a corner where I'm constantly doing what you think I should be doing. I'm not gonna do that. Like, this is not pride.
It's also a challenge to them, and not in a bad way. Because you and I came from the same place. We can speak that language. We can switch now.
We came from the ghetto.
We came from the ghetto. We know that language.
We know the lingo. Like, you get it. But you can't put me there forever. And you can't stay there forever.
And we have to lift people up from there. We have to help people to think differently, to know that, you know what, you can rise up. You can rise up.
I love when they say that, but sometimes when I see that comment, I'll be going there and say, stop locking creatives. Let creatives create the way they want to create. Locking a creative to be singing a certain way, to be rapping a certain way, to be doing shows a certain way. It's just so wrong, you know? It's creative.
And you know, when it's inspired, it does speak to a different kind of audience. It has its place. it has its place. And really, honestly speaking, it does have its place. To be able to inspire people, to be able to show people the other side of life, to be able to show people that you can rise up.
You can.
Yes.
Because it's so easy for us to stay in that place where we feel like there's no hope. We can't move forward. But you got to look at other people. You came from...
Let me tell you, I was in your rut.
Yes.
Do you know when that 4,000?
Yeah.
Do you know what inspired it? Because I was thinking I'm going for those people. And let me tell you, Lynn, I was confused when I was finding that I was attracting a different kind of person.
There you go.
And for a long time, I started feeling like, did I lose my purpose? Did I lose whatever it was that was inside of me when I first started?
Yes.
But when I wrote this book, my heart settled.
And I love it. Let me go
Thank
back
you.
to the book, because we digressed a bit.
Yes.
I started by saying, for me, it's the packaging. I have not seen a book packaged this way. I even remember, if you can remember, I told you, I'm in the process of writing mine.
Yes.
And now, ukiniona nimefanya hivi,
I'll come
just
to
know
look
this
for
is
you.
an inspiration,
It
not
is
an
well. I'll
imitation.
even take you to the printer myself.
You said that.
Yes.
You said that last
I'll take
time.
you. I will.
Yeah, but talking of the book,
Yes.
a lot of things here. Do you feel stuck and unable to find direction?
I was there.
Yeah, do you wonder what God created you to do? Do you have trouble identifying your gifts, abilities, and uniqueness? Have you lost your zeal, passion, and drive? You write them from a place of experience. This book, you've written it from a place of you've been there, you've lived this life.
Yes.
I just opened here and I saw a continuous battle, you know.
Yes.
I was 40 years old when Moses, the servant of Lord, sent me from Kadesh. But oh my God, what is that?
That was Joshua.
That was Joshua.
Caleb, rather, right? That was Caleb.
Yes.
When he had now gotten the children, he had gone with the children of Israel, and he was saying, I was 40. Do you know what? Now he was among people who are much older than him.
Yes.
And he had to insist for that which belonged to him.
Yeah.
Just like Caleb, some of us are feeling like, you know what, I'm too old. That's why I addressed that.
I love that. But let me read for them.
Yes.
What I saw.
Yeah.
You said, this book comes as an aid to light up your path again, to help you regain your vision and reaffirm to you that it's not too late. I found my true identity in my mid-40s.
Yes.
I feel like this could speak to a lot of our audience, because I'm not in that age, but I feel like we also have a lot of people also who are in their mid-40s, you know?
Yes.
And you said here, did I wonder whether it was too late? Absolutely. Did I wonder if life would make space for me? Yes, I did. Did I wonder if I had what it takes to navigate the ever-changing social media space? Yes, I did. I had to face my fears. I had to rise to the challenge. I had to reinvent Judy. And I had to tell myself that I was still strong enough for the battle.
Yes.
Sometimes you gotta tell yourself,
you have to tell,
strong enough for the battle.
Yes. You don't know algorithms.
Hey. What are
you go and find yourself there.
Go find yourself there. I want my people to be able, not an ad.
Yes.
But when I see something good, you gifted me a copy of this last time.
Yes.
And it's truly, it's everything that I would want someone who is feeling, especially stuck.
Yes.
Because me, I've been stuck making coffee there, my feet hurting and not really scared to come back to this field. So when I tell you I have to give some hiding somewhere, I know also what it feels to be able. I love making coffee. I love the barista job. I did it with so much passion, but I also knew that's not where I wanted to be. I kept telling myself, I gotta go back, and I felt old. Can you imagine in my 20s, and I was there feeling old for the meat? Devil, go away, you know. But for anyone who would want to get this book, where can they get it? Yeah,
you can get it on www.poweryourvision.co.ke. We are selling it online. If you're in Kenya, you can get it for 2,250. We will make sure that we deliver it to you. Still on that, www.poweryourvision.co.ke, or you can M-Pesa us. 8800468 is the till number.
Okay.
Yes.
And you deliver.
We deliver.
Outside Kenya?
Outside Kenya, it's on Amazon.
What's the greatest lesson you want people to pick from your story?
The greatest lesson that I want people to pick from my story is that you can be healed, that you can find your gifts, and you can rise again, and you can fulfill purpose.
Good. And you can fulfill purpose.
And you can fulfill purpose.
And you are not what happened to you.
And you're not what happened to you.
But
you see, more than not being it's important that we understand, and that's, for me, that's the main thing. Fulfill purpose. Become everything that God created you to be. Pour out every gift, everythty that is inside of you.
Die empty.
Die empty.
I love that.
Yeah.
Die empty.
Die empty.
You know, I always use the analogy of Les Brown.
Yes.
He says, if he passes on, and his gifts come and ask him, what did you do with us? What did you do with us? What did you do with us? What would he say? So even for me, that's a question I've asked myself a million times. If today my days here are over and my gifts come and ask me, Lynn, you were to open a coffee shop, what happened? What am I gonna say? What am I gonna say? I appreciate you for coming.
Thank you.
I can
so
tell
much.
you for free, it's not the last time we'll be having you on the show.
Oh,
if you grant us that, I always want people to say it in front of the audience
I'll
that
always,
you will come.
I'll always be available
And help us with a couple of things here and there.
Totally.
That
Consider me a partner of LNN.
You said it.
I have entrusted
coach.
myself
Amen.
as a partner.
Yes, and you've said it.
Yes.
So if you miss her,
I'm a person of my word.
Yes.
I'll be here. Yes. Kabisa.
Yes.
Call me.
Good.
Anytime you need anything, I'll be here.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
But where can my people find you? We told them where to find the book. So where can they find you before we go?
Okay, you can find me on social media, every social media handle at Safarini with Judy Mzungu. It means taking the journey of life with Judy Mzungu. Safarini with Judy Mzungu.
Yes, I love the Swahili part.
Yes.
Safarini. Sisi wote tuko Safarini.
Safarini, yes.
And we'll keep going.
Yes.
I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
I feel like it's time for our platform to have more of these conversations. And I feel that I just love that God has pointed me towards people like you. I always say, if I host a show here and the guest makes me think twice about my life as well, I want to have them as many times as possible, because then that's a clear indication I'm not the only one. But we promise you we will die empty.
Yes. Amen.
Say bye-bye to my people.
All right, I just want to say bye to you and just encourage you as you come to the end of 2024. It's time for a fresh start. It's time for you to believe again. It's time for you to rise above from everything that happened to you in the past. You can dream, you can imagine, you can fulfill purpose to the glory of God.
Amina. Yes, I don't have anything to add. More grace to you. For me, just to ask my audience, the book is already on your screen. If they can get a copy, let them get a copy. But I'll also be gifting them this copy here, because no way you are living with it. I'll gift one to our audience.
Let me gift another.
So you are
I'm topping up. So there are two books.
Good.
Yes.
So you buy one, I buy one.
Yes.
So that we can be able to
you'll find out who you want to give it. Okay.
Yes. On the comment section, this will be a random choice. Just write on the comment section why you would want this book if you are not in a position to afford it. But if you're in a position to afford it, please leave it for someone who might not be able to afford it right now. I know YouTube, by the way, YouTube spams comments that have emails there. So if you put your comment there, avoid putting in your email, but do forward me your email at info@lnn.digital. Also copy paste that comment and tell us why you want that book on the email so that we can be able to send it your way. I hope you get the energy and the strength to power your vision.
Amen.
For me, I hope we never get to wake up in a day where we are not hopeful. Hope, my mom tells me, is everything. But if you ever wake up and you don't have hope, keep that hope alive. As long as you're alive, there's a reason for it. Just be hopeful about the life that you're trying to build for yourself. And there's no shame, by the way, in saying, even me as Lynn, I might be here hosting one of the shows that you guys like so much, but to be honest, am I lost? Of course I'm lost. There are so many things I want to do with my life. I feel like I'm living my life 2% right now. There are so many things I want to do with my life right now. So get your copy of Power Your Vision by Judy Mzungu Jabali. It will be available at Nuria. That is a promise I've made to you guys. So if you're in town, just walk by Nuria and get yourself a copy and let me know on the comment section what has been your take home, and also what other conversations can coach come and help us with on the show. I've really enjoyed hosting her. I love conversations that I'm not too aware of. I love the challenge. I love learning in the process. So please don't be shy. Let me know on the comment section what's your take home. Also, to thank our incredible official partners of today's conversation. I know this is not green, but our backdrop is green. The color's green, tap, send. So if you are in diaspora and you want to spoil your people around this holiday season, or you want to send money for fees, or whatever needs that you want to cater for, why don't you try my friends at tap, send. The money app is fast, it's efficient, it's quick, and your people here will never ever complain. We've been this journey with them for a couple of months. No complaint from you guys, so that makes me know they are giving you really beautiful services. Use my code Lynn on your first transaction. Your first, that is if you are downloading the app for the very first time, use my code Lynn to get 10% cashback on the figures on your screen. To my incredible team who has spent the entire day filming new episodes of LNS, I appreciate you. Muga pale, Edgar nauliza, Lynn funga tuende tukule. Okay, we are going. Scholar is just here ready to take her tea, and of course our incredible editors, Sam, Kelvin, and Mary. Guys, you've not noticed we've added another editor. We are growing. Yes. Give love to our girl Mary on the comment section, and the entire management at LNN for making sure that we continue bringing you impactful conversations. If I don't see you tomorrow at 10 a.m., then I'm going to see you the day after tomorrow at 10 a.m. My name is Lynn. Bye-bye.